Well, this is John Black, Super Chemist. We're in a new series of videos. This is going to take at least 3 videos. What is feminism? What's screwed up is, because they keep keep banning my videos well, on YouTube. I'm on Rumble and BitChute now, but constantly, they just keep deleting my channels and stuff. I had really good information on feminism, like the history, in the video. Now I can't keep redoing these videos over and over and over again and give a crap about. So the information is just from memory. I can't really get into a lot of detail with it. I can't remember. I can't, basically I'm trying to get the ideology across in these videos. The history just doesn't really matter that much. But I did want to say that, all my life, up until like a year or two, whenever ago, if you would ask me, are you a feminist? I would say I'm not exactly sure what a feminist is, but if it's about equality for women and equal opportunity for women, then yes, I'm a feminist. That was my answer, literally, religiously, for my entire life. Okay, since, feminism came, whatever, into my life. Then I looked into it, like I said, like a year ago, actually more than a year ago. Say 2 years ago, whenever it was. 3 years, 1 to 3 years ago. And I found out that it really has nothing to do with female equality. It's basically, and I mean this literally, it's not like female supremacy. It is female supremacy. It's literally KKK ideology, except you change the, black and white and you make it men and women, you know what I mean? Feminists have been around for thousands of years, okay, or at least 1,000 years, or longer. They sprang up in the Americas, the colonies, I think in around the 1700s. Somewhere around there, I guess. And they what it is they basically, they have this female supremacy, and they basically just changed the name of female supremacy, their ideology, to feminism, and said it was all about equality to get people to fight for it. See what I'm saying? Why I'm doing the BLM and the LGBT thing, videos in the last few videos, and the communism videos. See how they're all the same? Don't you get it? BLM is really about communism, but instead of telling you, hey, let's do this communist ideology, they changed it to Black Lives Matter, right? What are the Democrats, right? The Democrats are the Jim Crow Party, the KKK Party, the Slave Party. How the hell did they get black people to love them? Oh, because they changed their name. They changed it to We Give Free Money to Black People Party. And then they kept the ideology, black people just ate it up. But you see a motif here? You see a pattern? Okay, the same with the LGBT stuff. It's about communism, but they pretend it's about LGBT rights. It has nothing to do with rights. BLM has nothing to do with black people, and the Democrats have nothing to do with, being good to black people. Anyways, these people, the elites, they only have a couple tricks, like I keep saying, but they keep using them over and over and over and over and over again. And humans, because they're total morons, they can't seem to learn from their history, even though it's repeated they do that trick with the Federal Reserve Bank, like every decade or two, collapse everything, come in, buy everything up for the pennies of the dollar, and then flood the market with money again, so that everything they bought for pennies goes up in value again. They do it like every decade, every 2 decades, for 100 years. It's like, literally, the first Federal Reserve Bank was doing it, the second Federal Reserve Bank was doing it. It's like, how many times can they do the same trick? You idiots. Like, really? So anyways, it's basically the same trick. Oh, jeez. That scared the heck out of me. And, they won't learn from their history. And you can, like my video series called Fiat Money, my one called Federal Reserve Bank, the one called World Bank, the one called Why the Elites Want Low Tariffs, and the one called Is the Deep State a Monarchy? These video series, right, they're all showing you patterns. I show you the pattern of fiat money. I show you the pattern of the Federal Reserve Bank. I show you the pattern of the World Bank. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then they admit it, because you know how they, like 20, 40 years go by, they admit what they did, because everyone's dead. So anyways, let's get into the history of the feminazi movement, or the feminists, feminism, female supremacist, whatever you want to call them. It's created by self-proclaimed witches. Okay. Usually the crazy woman that lived on the outskirts of town, an outcast. That was the feminist. Today it's the 50 cat, the old lady with the 50 cats. It's insane. That's the feminist of today. The feminist, the original feminist, was the promiscuous or gay woman. Because the Christians, they won't allow gay people to be gay, and so what happens to these people? They end up going on the outskirts of town, being promiscuous with women, being promiscuous with men, and getting crazier and crazier because they're not accepted into society, right? And they worshipped a female god. That's what a feminist is, someone who worships a female. See, they've changed it around, but this is the true whatever. You know what I mean? This is whatever. I'll get into that, anyways. Yeah, you got to worship a female god. These feminists back in the like in the 1700s, 1800s, they were doing like political assassinations. You know what I mean? That's how crazy these people were. You know what I mean? How like they're terrorists. They're crazy. But it never really took off in the last 1,000 or more years of feminism, even in our own country, until men got involved, which is funny, right? I got an itch on my back. Okay, which is funny because the feminism is like, oh, no guys can't help us, and we're better than men, and blah, 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 blah. But the only way it took off was two rich guys. I think one of them was probably J.P. Morgan. I can't remember the names because, like I said, I'm not looking this stuff up again. Not again. No, I've looked stuff up enough. I can't do it anymore. Can't redo a video every time. I wish I had enough USBs where I could just save my videos, but I am poor, so whatever. But anyways. Never took off. Okay, twice in American feminism, right? During, when the United States came forward, and the CIA was born in like the 30s or 40s or whenever it was, the 40s. The CIA got involved twice, helping the feminists do, I can't remember I don't know if they were helping with the assassinations. I don't think they were, but maybe. I can't remember, but twice they were involved. Okay, so that's the elites. That's the the deep state CIA. Yeah, two rich guys got involved, and feminism took off, and they put it in the colleges. See, and then the colleges would teach this to the teachers, right? You're going to college, you want to be a teacher in a public school, right? Then they'll teach you take woman studies, right? And you take this feminist stuff, and you carry this female supremacy ideology into the public schools. See, I always thought that because this is the way it usually happens, is that they get the public schools first, and they indoctrinate the children, and then as they grow up and go into the college, they can infiltrate the colleges. But this, it seems like, was the opposite. You know what I mean? I totally lost my train of thought here. Yeah, it seemed like that. Yeah, it seemed like the CIA and the elites, they were getting this into the colleges first, okay, and then it went into the public schools once those teachers, graduated from college and went and got jobs in public schools. I just thought that was an interesting thing that, it went off because usually like in communist China, they took over the schools. And you can see today they're taking over the schools when it comes to the other religion that they made, because this is basically a religion. Communism is a religion. Feminism is a religion. Wokeism is a religion. That's why they have that cult-like behavior where they're just insane. And when you leave, they have that cult mentality where you leave the cult. You know what happens when you leave a cult, right? If you don't, just join the Democratic crazy liberals and then leave their cult, and you'll see. You'll know what it's like. Yeah. And for decades, no one was allowed to read papers written by women who were written, because before women had the right to vote, right? They wrote books and papers and articles where they were interviewed, and you know what I mean, talking about, whether they wanted to vote or not. Because no women wanted to vote. You know what I mean? That was a stupid move for women. You know what I mean? Put it this way, it wasn't a stupid move for women because women didn't make this move. Men forced it on them. Okay, they did not want. If women couldn't vote on the issue of women voting, right? So they got their vote by men. All men voted whether women should vote or not. Women didn't have a say in it, right? And that's how they got the vote. But if no men were allowed to vote in the vote, voting whether or not women should have voting rights, if only women voted, at very, very most, 5% of the women would have voted saying that they want the right to vote. I would guess probably 1%. And the only reason why you got 1% or 5% even is because of the propaganda that these feminists, and not even the feminists, it was the men, the rich elites. And why did they do that? Why did they promote? Because they wanted to double, just like right now, man. That's one of the reasons why they opened the border up. You double the population and you have the same amount of jobs, you can pay less money, right? If you have double the population and you don't double the houses, you can charge triple rent for the elites, right? That's one of the reasons why they opened the border, right? Well, why do they want women to work? Because if you double the workforce and you don't double the jobs, what happens? They can pay less, because if you don't want to do it for that less pay, they'll get a woman to do it or somebody else. They say that, which is a lie, that both parents have to work. That's a lie. You're just you've been taught to be a greedy piece of garbage, okay, you middle class people, okay? They're making like 80 grand a year, and they're like, I have to have my wife work. I only you make 80 grand a year, you piece of garbage. You act like you're poor. Your wife don't need no one else needs to work if you got 80 grand a year, you selfish piece of greedy garbage. You sacrifice your children just so you can have more money when you're making 80 grand a year. That is shameful, man. That's shameful, man. But anyways, I totally lost my train of thought here. So for decades, yeah, they actually had sometimes a CIA agent or a person who worked for the CIA or someone who worked for the college at the libraries, okay? And all the feminist books and all the books that were anti-feminist that were written before, they got the right to vote, right? Yeah. You weren't allowed to go just get those books. You're in the college, right? You go to the library. You think you can just pick out the book you want. But no. If it's on feminism, see? No. You have to go through the CIA guy. And they won't give it to you directly. They will tell you what's in the book, but you can never have your hands on it back then. I mean, now you can, but then no.